Hey, this is Smita from c2reference.com. Today we'll be seeing about how to connect to your Mongo DB. So in this video, I'm going to show you how you can connect to your Mongo DB using your shell or a command prompt. So this is really two possibilities over here. So if you're working from your Linux shell, then probably the way you should be having your bash shell, or in case if you're working with your Windows, make sure that you have your command prompt. So if it is a Linux, make sure that you have your shell. In case if it is your Mac, make sure that you have your bash shell. And in case if you're working with your Windows, make sure that you have your command prompt. The only differences are this, that in case if you're working with your Windows command prompt, then make sure that you're running with the command prompt as an administrator, because we require certain privileges for working out few commands where you require those privileges to be provided for you. You should be able to access that. In case if you're working with your Linux shell, make sure that you are having privileges as well, and you can just start with a command called as a sudo. Sudo stands for super user do, SUDO. So you can just use your SUDO stands for a super user do. So using this, you can run with the privileges. Now, once you have started, you have actually connected to your Mongo. Now, the two things what you have to understand over here is that let me from over here. So we do have a client tool as well as we have the DB, right? So this client tool, I'll just write it as a CT. The client tool is nothing but your Mongo. So this will be the client who makes the request to your DB, and that the DB part is what we call it as a Mongo D. So two keywords what you have to remember about you is that what is Mongo and what is a Mongo D. So Mongo D is basically your Mongo database, and from the client tool we make a request for the database to work on certain process like operations may be related to your code. So creation, retrieving, updation, deletion. So that's where your Mongo makes a request. The client tool makes a request to your Mongo D. Now, for doing that, since I'm running with a command prompt, what I'm doing is that from the command prompt, I'm just running as an administrator, and I'm just clicking on a Mongo. What is a Mongo? Mongo is a client tool. So once you click on Mongo, once you click enter, as you can see that a Mongo DB, it is displaying here the shell version. So I'm just connecting to the version of 3.0 and connecting to the default. So you can see that connection to test is nothing but you're trying to connect to the default database called as a test. Now, you can also see the further at the bottom there are certain commands that says that it could not connect to your server, and which is the server it is trying to attack. The server is nothing but your Mongo D server. It's your Mongo is trying to connect to your Mongo D. Since Mongo D is not yet started, it could not make a connection to your that's your server part of your database. Now, how do we start a Mongo server? For doing that, what you have to do is that just open up one more command prompt. Again, since you're working with your Windows, just make sure that you have the privileges by just clicking on run as an administrator. Now, in this, what we have to do is that we need to just make sure that we are just running this as a server. Okay, so that's what I would be doing over here. So where I just indicate this as a Mongo D. Mongo D says that it is starting up your Mongo DB server. So just click on this, and it just takes a couple of time for starting up, where you can see the certain commands over here which says that the default target that's your operating system is Windows 7, the default one, and it has a Windows Server 2008, and DB version 3.0 is my default Mongo version. Git version, the building information to anything related for service platform information, allocator who allocates the memory space for this, and what is a journal diagram, where is the journal located. You remember I had told you about the journal, the few, like it's about whenever you're creating your installing your DB, so there is once you just install, you can just go into your particular data folder and you can see for a journal. Now I'll just tell you what happens without journal and what happens with the journal. Now let's assume that when you just start up your Mongo D, this is your Mongo D. When you just start up your Mongo D, it is actually mapping to your data files. It is there in your shared view, right? The operating system says that your data file, let's assume that it is there about 30,000 bytes. So this 3,000 bytes are on the disk. So the operating system would say you that it can map this content in the memory address, maybe somewhere that let's assume that it's between 2,000 to 6,000. Now, so if you're reading this memory from the memory address, let's say that from 4,000, of course you would be getting this record depending on either it can be a 20-second record or a 21st byte of the file, right? So that's how it works. But in case, let's say that what happens without journal is that the Mongo D makes a second mapping. Second mapping in the sense that it will be having a private view. So this private view is like a kind of a disabled. This is why enabling your journals doubles the amount of your virtual memory space. Let's say that if my record is taking 612, in case if you have a journal, it will be doubled up, means 612 plus 612. So in that case, it becomes 21224. So that's how the total space it takes, because it just maintains the two copies of your content. The mapping will happen between the private view as well as the public view. And this is where it just adds twice the amount of your memory. The private view is not connected to the data frame. So operating systems cannot flush any changes from this private view to the disk. So that's very important. So when you write your Mongo D, it will be writing it in the private view. So Mongo D, then it will write the changes to the journal view. So Mongo D is responsible for writing this content, what is that you have written from the private view to your the journal file. Okay. So who will do this? This will be taken care by that's your Mongo DB. Now Mongo D, in case, let's assume that if it crashes, it usually won't, but in case if it crashes, the journal can replay the change. That's where journals are very important, because you would be having two copies. In case if you're not saving that in the file, you would be having a duplicate copy existing in related to your journal information will be there within your journal format. Okay, so that's what you have to understand. Now since we have started with the server, let's go back, and what I'll do is that I'll just retype the Mongo again. Now you can see that I'm not getting any errors as of that. Before, whatever we got, like failed to connect, could not connect to server, all the things we did not get because we just connected to the server. So this is what you can just see over here, is that how does the process work for connecting your content back into your DB. Now since it's been connected, now what we can do is that we can just try out. This is a shell. What you're seeing right now, this is your shell. So where this shell is holding some information about how does your Mongo DB works, how does you can find interesting things over here where you don't realize it all. So all the informations are there within this command. Okay. So first of all, when you open a shell, so that it would return you what is the version of the shell and what is that you're trying to connect. So these are the two things what it basically lets you say, that this is what you can see that it is trying to connect to the test. It is a default database. So in case if you want to just switch from if you want to know about before that I just go into detail, I just want to show you that how does your Mongo DB, it's like a JavaScript enabled. So let's create a variable. Var is a variable in the JavaScript. I'm just creating a is 10, it is holding a value as 10, and let me just create a b is holding a value as 20, and let's create a variable c where this would be holding a content of a and b, and in case if you want to know what is the value c is holding, it should let me know the value of adding up with your a and b. So we are adding 10 and 20, and you can see that output what is being stored in your c is 30. The same way, like in case if you want to just create your JSON object, maybe let's say that I have just created an obj and I just have to create an array. So when you're creating your array, you can give out any different. So usually what was happening in case if you work with any of your other programming languages, whenever you're creating a collection of elements, it was very mandatory that you have to pick a collection type belong to a singular type. So if it is an integer, all the content should be integer, right? So how do we, that's not the same thing with your JSON object. Let's say that I have a name field, but very important, whenever you write any names, it is referred as to be taken up as a string by default. Okay, so you can just give up whatever name you want, and followed with that I also require some information about the age. So I'll just mention about the age. Okay, and I also, in case if you want to give anything, you can give over here. So what I'll do is I'll just keep it simple, so I'm just ending over here. Okay, now this is whatever data which is there in an object I just want to print. So you can see that it says that the name is Raj and age is 20. So this is how it can also work with your JavaScript content. Now, just to check whether is that anything where you want to know what is a DB. So if you want to know what are the available DBs you have, so you can just click on a command called as a show DBs. So show DBs lets you know that displays all the available databases whatever we have. So you can see that right now I have 3 databases, that's my admin, local, and the new MyDB. So these are the 3 available databases what I have. Now in case if you want to use any of them, let's say that I want to get into my new MyDB, or I want to get into local, so in that case what you can do is that you can just directly make it access to take that. Okay, so let's say that I want to use a local, or maybe I want to use a new MyDB, so I'll say that use, followed with the use, I just use a keyword called as anything, since I'm looking for a new my object.